Hello and welcome to Managing Your Project, part of the 8th Floor's Mastering Technology Skills for Teaching and Learning series. This is Leanne Morse again, and we're going to go through some of the topics you may want to be paying attention to as you start working on your project. We already talked about some of the landmines that you may encounter when working with students and parents and administrators. Now let's look at the project itself. You and your project. What are you going to need to know? Be sure to click to advance to the next slide. Because everyone is working on their own individual, unique projects, we can't possibly prescribe or know what it is you need to know individually. But that's kind of why we're here and why we're doing it this way. We're letting you do the development part of it, you do the research part of it, so that everything is a relationship to what you need instead of us trying to guess. So we're going to try and lead you in that direction as best we can. We're going to look at, very quickly, ask these simple questions. Do you know enough about what you're doing? Do you know of any experts, resources, and learning networks? Are you saving the information, organizing it, and are you being careful about copyright? So it may seem like kind of a odd question to be asking, but do you know enough? Do you know enough about what you're doing, about your project, about what the experts in the field are doing, about the different resources that might be available to you? Have you hooked up with some experts? Have you joined some networks? Things like that. Have you asked yourself, do I know enough about what I'm doing right now? So on the last slide, I mentioned getting connected to experts, finding resources, and joining learning networks. This is a pretty good idea. People have already blazed trails. They've already invented wheels, and there's no reason for you to have to do that on your own. If you can find somebody who's already done what you're doing, why not benefit from their experience? Additionally, if you happen to blaze your own new trail, why not be the person that contributes to others' learning? Make that contribution to your profession that becomes valuable to other people. Find the experts in the field. Find resources, some of the better technology resources. Join some networks. A good place to start might be the 8th Floor Ning site if you're not already a member. Join the 8th Floor Facebook page. I'll have links to all the resources that I'm going to talk about in this video on our Project Classroom Wiki. You'll find a link for that just below our discussion for this particular section of the Moodle. Organizing. Organizing the resources that you find is an important step to being successful in planning these sorts of projects. You're going to run across a lot of online resources and places that you want to get back to. How are you saving and organizing that information? If you've taken any classes at the 8th floor, especially with me, you've probably heard me talk about Delicious. Delicious is a social bookmarking tool. It's not the only one, it's just the one I've started working with. Another one you might be interested in is Diigo. A lot of people are using LiveBinders and Evernote. Again, I'll have links to all of these on the Project Classroom Wiki. But start thinking about how you want to organize all of these resources. And in organizing those, finding a way to be able to share them with your students or other teachers. There's many ways you can start saving yourself a lot of time, headache, and heartache just by organizing using specific curation tools or other Web 2.0 or social bookmarking tools. Copyright. This is one of those things, it's almost like a dirty word. Nobody wants to talk about it. And I think that the reason why copyright's so difficult is that there are so many gray areas. I will be giving you a link to my Delicious account where I have a million different resources on copyright. And if this is something you want to explore even further, we do have an online class called Crash Course in Copyright you might want to look into in the fall. But it's important for your students to see you managing issues around copyright so that they can learn how to do that as well. You'll be using a lot of resources that you haven't created on your own. It's quite possible that you will, in which case you need to know what the rules are around that. And those are, again, very sticky and gray rules. It's hard to know precisely what the answer is, but it's best to try to do a little bit of research so that you at least go in the right direction. And again, like I said, modeling that behavior for your students, good idea. All right, so you may want to go visit the wiki and check out some of the links. I recommend that you find a way to organize all of the materials that you're going to be coming across. Go out there and find some experts in the area that you're working in. Join some networks. If you haven't joined the 8th Floor Ning site, that's an absolute must. This is a local community that you could be drawing upon for many, many things. And again, go check out, if you're not familiar with copyright and what some of the rules may be around what you're creating or the resources you're using that others have created, then you might want to go check a few videos on it and get caught up a bit. Move on to, after you've checked out the project wiki, if you want to do that, be sure and move on to the discussion forum called How Can We Help? Enter that discussion forum and talk to us about what are your concerns right now? What have you learned from these last couple of videos? What work are you going to be doing as a result of that? Is there anything that we have forgotten to mention that you think is valuable for others to know? We look forward to the discussion. Thank you.